Hey, Max morning everyone. Chris and Tammy here. We want to welcome you to this Go for Diamond webinar session. And as a matter of fact, as you are listening to this webinar, we're probably boarding the plane right now. So, we decided, next week it's Thanksgiving weekend. So because of that, we decided, we don't want to miss 2 sessions 2 weeks in a row. So we decided, let's just do a wonderful recording here. Well, we believe it's wonderful. I think it's going to really help you. And that way, you'll get some insights on the tips and tricks on qualifying for trips and incentive trips, which is really, really important. I think most of the time, people are not really aware that they can qualify for those trips. And first of all, how to qualify for those trips. So the very first thing that's really, really important here is to identify the qualification. And one of the things I really, really recommend, Tammy and I'm sure agrees with me, is maxblog.com. Go there at least once a week. I recommend multiple times a week, but at least once a week, because Max is adding more and more information on a regular basis. And this is where you will find a lot of the incentive trips and promotions and everything that's going on. And the more informed you are, the more efficient you will become in building your network and building your business.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, the Max blog is super important. The moment you get a new person started, you want to get them plugged in immediately. And for those of you who have been around for a while with Max, this should be a routine for every single one of us, right? And the key is to identify the requirements of every single incentive that Max has going. And one of these incentives just happens to be the Destined for Diamond, which is one of the trips that we're on right now. And that is because the people who are there are people who have qualified to be there. And you can qualify too. You can qualify for all of the events. I know some of you have already been to
Dubai and
well, not just that, but the events itself where build to bronze, step up to silver,
Okay. So what's really important here, once you identify the actual promotion and now you can actually see the requirements, the fact is you need to identify your position. Where are you now, right? What position are you? What status are you? What status are you maintaining, right? And from that point on, important is, okay, well, what are the steps that you need to do to qualify for that upcoming incentive trip? This is how it all begins. Now, a lot of time it's kind of self-explanatory, but sometimes for a new associate or a new person, or even someone that really hasn't followed the comp plan that much, it may not be all that obvious. And just ask for help if you need to consult. Okay, what do I need to do to qualify for upcoming trips? So that's the very first thing, is know where you are, know where the qualifications are, and what you need to do to achieve those qualifications, okay? Now, in that note, what's also very, very important is to create an environment. You probably noticed that Tammy and I have created different groups for different things. Well, this is the thing. So you need to initiate some Facebook groups. It could be some private groups. It could be some public groups. It really depends on the use and the need of what it is you're trying to do. For example, if you're doing an incentive for, let's say, one side of your team, or it's a group of leaders that you're trying to help and grow, then you may want to have a private group, and you would throw that incentive within that private group with that selected, field of leadership, right? For example, if you create this group, you may want to add your top 10, your top 5, your top 6, your top 7, whatever, the leadership that you reckon, or the one that you have, or the 2 that you have, right? Start from there, where in turn they could do the same thing, right? And the other thing too is to recognize your leadership through these groups. And even Tammy and I have to also, we know what to do, and the fact is that, but we can always improve upon. But I'm telling you that at some point, we've done these things, and that is the reason why we've been able to build such a powerful organization around the world, is to create an environment to recognize the people that are achieving the simple steps from silver to prime bonus level 1, and then to bronze and to silver, right? So these are so important.
And another thing that you want to do is plan events. Like we made this month, October, blue jeans and white shirts. Have fun with this. If it's not your thing, do things with your team to create culture and fun. And you'll see you'll have a whole lot more people that are going to be excited and activated. We just did an event yesterday in Hamilton. Thank you, Ian and Eleanor, for opening your home. Several of us, some of you saw this on the platforms because all of us are posting on social media. Well, from that event, there's so much excitement right now because there was a training in it as well. And they're all excited to get to another level and create culture within your teams. You don't want to wait for your sponsors and the sponsor or blame somebody because nobody's doing it for you. We all joined we all joined in one circle, and that circle was the first circle, which was you. So take initiative and build your business. Your whole focus in this business model is you and everybody below you. That's where you spend all of your time, nurturing, engaging, creating accountability, all that stuff, creating culture, incentives, all these things to help your businesses grow.
Yeah, and Tammy talked about, kind of doing an inventory on who is willing to participate.
Yeah.
And the plan to execute. Once you touch on that.
Yeah. So the end of the day, you got when you're ready to run with this, and you say, okay, that's it. I'm going to the next Destined to Diamond, or I'm going to the next Road to Gold, or the next Build to Bronze, or whatever incentive you're going for. The goal is for you not to go there alone. The goal is to get other people to go there. Find out who's on board. Find out who's engaged. Find out who's willing to put the hours in and the commitment in and the sacrifice. Let's face it. If you want to succeed in anything, if any of you had any incentive where you went on trips, you know what you put into it. Well, if you want to go to the top in this business, you got to be consistent on putting these efforts. And then you take a little bit of break to celebrate, and then you get back into it. Create these 30-day drives, 7-day drives, all these things that you want to do, but you need to know who's aboard. And don't get discouraged when you find out many people are not on board.
It's life.
It is really life. And you'll find a lot of people that you bring into this business, the truth is many people are glorified customers. Some are going to drive this. Those are the ones you want to work with. And then you're going to have leaders that are just going to do this with or without you. Regardless whether you're going to put anything into it, they're going to take initiative and they're going to be work within your team. You need to duck and celebrate that because it takes a lot for you at the beginning to get that person to get where they are for them to be who they are today.
And what's really important is it's also an accountability process, right? But also you need to have their permission to keep them accountable. Be careful with that. Because often the new networker or the less experienced networker may turn around and may kind of force it upon them, but they're not really all that committed and are not really that interested to be that committed, right? It's more like the leader wants it more than they want. And we know that happens. So that's why when Tammy say doing accountability within your leaders and the people in your team and who is willing to participate. From there, when they raise their hand or they step forward, then you know that these are people that are willing to be accountable for the things they say they're going to do. And often they're going to welcome that, right? Because they want to go to this trip and they want to increase their income from there. Because in this business, folks, I know some people think that, you know what, maybe one day I'm going to sign up that well. It doesn't happen that way. Right? Sometimes some wonderful people come into the business, but for them to stick around and for that culture to occur, there has to be an environment that keeps them in, and keeps them accountable, and that keeps them motivated to go forward and to achieve, right? And some folks, they just want to share products and feel better and help others feel better, and that's cool too. It's part of the group. right? So you need to work with the people that are willing to work with you within this accountability process. And the fact is, initiate group sessions, right, with this accountability. It could be through a phone session. It could be through a group on WhatsApp, or, I mean, there's so many ways, or Facebook Messenger. It could be a Zoom webinar, whatever the situation is, and create some accountability. And maybe the people who have or achieved certain levels of their accountability to get towards that trip or that recognition or whatever that requirement is necessary to go to this trip, and then from there everybody kind of share how they're advancing, and that creates also a little bit of a fear of loss for those that might be a little bit sleepy, right? But what's really, really, really important, Tammy, is promote. Would you agree?
We can't stress that enough. There's a lot going on, and often the more you get out there promoting, the bigger your business is going to grow. And you always want to be the example, for sure. And when it comes to the opportunity presentations, that's where your businesses grow. If you're not doing your own presentations with your own Zoom platform, first of all, you need to practice to do that, because that's what it takes to build a team in the business, and it's got to start somewhere. It starts with you practicing. Could be a family member you practice with, but then you want to be out there promoting. There's lots of events available now. Get on the calendar, talk to your leaders, and ask where you can find this stuff. Because if you've been through a new associate orientation training, you know where all this stuff is, and of course it's activeteam.com.
One thing I can tell you,
activeteamgroup.com.
and one thing I can tell you, folks, that you want to promote right now is the upcoming virtual event in October. There's many countries that are part of this, and it's virtual. You want to promote. You don't want to be a spectator on the sideline, always showing up when the time comes in, but you want to let your people know. That's so important. That's how your team grows. These are part of the tips and tricks that actually will get you to qualify for these wonderful trips incentives. And folks, I'm telling you, they are really wonderful. And here's another thing that's really important. Since, the pandemic that started, and the reality is we started this way before the pandemic, but at the time, being a 22, it's been, on steroids, right?
Yeah, we took it to another level.
Everything is online, and you need a weekly plug-and-play system. Very important. Your team, just like if you remember, many of you remember, we used to have those hotel meetings, and it started with 40, 50, 60, 70 people show up. Next thing you know, we'd have 12 people, and next thing you know, we'd have 30 people, and then sometime we may have 100 people, and it goes down. It's the way it is. But the fact is, people were used to attend, and they knew there was a hotel meeting once a week, or once a month, or once every 2 weeks. But now it's virtual. So we have the weekly trainings. In our case, as you know, you should all be there as you are this evening, and don't show up alone. Come with your team, right? Participate with your team, and make sure that your team come in on the Monday night between 8, 8:45 or 9. Most of the time it's an hour, because it takes an hour to go through all the process and the details, which we believe are very important. As tonight, we give you some of the tips and tricks to basically to qualify to go to these wonderful trips. There's also the weekly opportunity meetings, right? You probably noticed that the emails going out has the event for the Monday night, the Go for Diamond training that's happening, like we see right now. And of course, I promote the event that's happening on Tuesday with Bill and Linda, and on Wednesday with Jasmine and Mireille, and sometimes Scott. And also on Thursday, it's Tammy and I.
And then you have the French as well that's going on with Lucy. She's got 2 sessions. So the key is to follow the calendar. Take initiative. This is your business. You are the first person in that circle. So that person needs to know what they're doing to build a business, so that when you get somebody started, you know how to get somebody started right by attending it yourself. You sign somebody up, you encourage them to be part of it. And the more people you have in your team that are engaged in doing the plug-and-play system, the more successful you become. So make sure you have that PowerPoint, the slides, downloaded onto a folder. I like to have a folder on my laptop. I have my folder with my PowerPoint, with the script, it's in that folder, a one-on-one sheet that we have to keep, a short presentation when somebody says, well, I only got 10 minutes. Sure, I'll do the one-on-one sheet with them. So you just gotta look at the stuff that you have and keep a folder so you know exactly where it is, so you're not searching for things, so it's easy to share your screen.
So now we talk about the weekly meetings, the weekly trainings, but also the in-homes, right? Just this weekend, we had a great time, and it was an in-home. And of course, again, I just want you to be careful. I want you to be responsible, as I'm telling you to do in-homes. And of course, usually happens with people that know their surrounding, they know each other, so they know the history of what's going on, where they go, and so forth. So, but in-homes is part of it, and do they know? Do your downline knows how to do an in-home? Because we have trainings that we've done years ago on how to do an in-home, right? The proper things, very, 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 very important.
Yeah.
So one of the things that's also important, that's the last point. This is a bit of a short training here, guys. The last point we want to talk about is, are you empowering your team or enabling your team? This is in big part the reason why you may grow an organization or your organization plateaued and it stops growing. You see, empowering means that you're helping people step out of their comfort zone to reach their potential goals, right? In other words, do things with them or together, right? And not for. There's a big, big difference. Enabling means like doing it for them. For example, I'll do the meeting for you, or I'll call them for you, or I'll come over and tie your shoes, if you know what I mean, right? So the fact here is, this is often how people build their businesses. And your team expects you to know this. Your team expects you to do it for them because that's how they have learned to duplicate you, because that's what you did. And often this is also the reason why you are not getting the results that you're looking for, because you're enabling your team opposed to inspiring your team to evolve and grow and to help them make the decision to grow this business. Folks, there is so much income opportunity for you here. And I know that these products are important, especially today in our environment when we're dealing with this immune system compromise situation that we're facing, right? And I'm not just talking about I'm talking about, this has been going on for a long time. What we eat, what we breathe, what we drink. This has been going on for decades. So we have some really, really credible products that we know will help people live a better quality of life. But in the same time, someone has to pay for these products. So instead of paying Walmart or these big corporations, you're paying the company through someone who referred you to them. That's really what we do. We cut the middleman, and the consumers benefits for telling other consumers. Does that make sense? That's what we do. So don't be shy, or don't shy away from that. And those of you that want to take the extra step and you want to go to these wonderful trips, we're going to Zanzibar tomorrow, and I mean, that's exciting and that's fun. And then we're going to be going to Italy,
in Ireland next year.
And also in Ireland. There's two events going on. And for me, I look forward
It's
to Ireland.
because we missed one because of
Yeah,
the
so there's
COVID,
exactly.
that 1 year that we missed all
That's
the
right. There's
all
going to
the
be two.
travels, yeah.
But in Ireland, folks, this is a 1,000-year-old castle. Tammy, you remember when we met? I want a castle. I always want. I mean, there's something about castle. You know, it's just the structure. I just love it.
Now he gets a free trip to go there.
Now we're going to a 1,000-year-old castle. This is going to be so awesome. And the thing, why is it that Tammy and I qualify for? And again, it's not to brag, folks, to impress upon you what we're telling you. What we're telling you works. We have never missed an event. And if there's one we've missed, it's because there was some situation, we missed one in 14 and a half years of being in this business, because something was
something
clashing.
came up.
I don't remember the detail. But the point here is that every single year, and not only that, but many, many, many of the diamonds that we have mentored are coming with us every single year. We want we want you to follow us, to come with us to these events, so we can have just wonderful experience for you to discover the rest of the world. It's such a beautiful world that we live in, and Max gives you the opportunity simply for qualifying, and as you qualify, your income grows, and not only your income grows, but the people in your team are earning an income. What are the last words you want to add, Tammy?
Can you hear the passion, you guys? When you build this business with passion and excitement, even when you're not where you want to be, we've been there, where we weren't where we wanted to be. We had bills, like we had, oh my God,